What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. This is episode 74. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Destiny.
Hey.
And this week, we're super stoked to have joining us once again from thisblackwitch.com, Black Witch. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
How's it going?
Coming back. Woo.
Oh, it is going quite fine. I mean, we're all still in a pandemic, which everybody please wear a mask. Hands, space, face. Seriously. Just because it's 2021? Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
It's from
that
the
is
British.
A great way to put it. Oh, is it really?
It is, even though it's not surprising given the British has a long history of plagues.
They should know what they're doing.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should know how to handle it by now. On this week's podcast, we're going to be talking all about online dating, virtual dating, and kind of how to get into that a little bit. And we're also going to close out with some news about Sega confirming that Sonic the Hedgehog, the voice actor, is changing. Returnal is getting delayed. PlayStation Plus for February has been announced. And that will be the show for today. But as always, we will start with some random questions. And as is tradition, I will first ask Black Witch a random question, which I have totally not prepared for. And then she will ask something of Destiny and myself, again, unprompted. And let's see where this takes us. So, Black Witch, I have a question for you. And what I want to know would be something along the lines of, if you wanted to make your own superhero, let's say Marvel comes to you and they're like, Black Witch, we need a superhero from you from scratch. What would the superhero kind of like look like, power set? What would they kind of be like? And who would be their nemesis?
Honestly, first of all, I'd be astonished if Marvel came to me given my interactions with them. Like, wow, you guys finally got some therapy, huh? But I'm saying it came to me, honestly, to be honest, I would just find a superhero that I have dissociative identity disorder. And I've noticed there's not always a lot of characters who have a positive representation of that. And I think the closest I've seen so far in comics is perhaps Jane in Doom Patrol. Yay, thanks to Gerard Way. But I would definitely prefer somebody who is a Black girl with DID, but also she can also use those abilities not only to figure things out, of course, having the different powers. I think that's really, really cool. But also you start to see more into her story, kind of like what DC could have done with Two-Face, but they totally didn't, since he is technically a DID character. But definitely like the nemesis, I mean, goodness gracious, because of her experiences with trauma as a kid and stuff, that means that some of these nemesis would still be sticking around even when she's older, and so on and so forth. And also she doesn't always know who's a friend, who's a foe, sometimes because of how her memories don't always sync up appropriately. So pretty much something like that. So I guess Danganronpa, but like not crappy. So,
that sounds super dope. Yeah. I would read the crap out of that comic book.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, something that M. Night Shyamalan couldn't come up with.
Something you've thought about for a while, so like it sounds solid.
Yep, I mean, yeah, because seeing how poor representation is for mental health, especially for DID, the old school name, everybody, is multiple personality disorder, but it's better to not use it because nobody's used that name since 1994, or split personality, which has not been used since the 1950s. So it's the new millennium, the new century, upgrade yourself. And definitely, so I would like to definitely see that, and it's not be like some stereotypical mess, because Split was awful. Toko from Danganronpa, it's like they did their homework, but they definitely slept on a few textbooks. And Doom Patrol, they're trying their best. But, less gritty, less nitty, less gritty.
For sure. That sounds like actually a really, really super dope character. And Marvel, if you're listening, I mean, if you are, holy crap, hi. But also, go talk to Black Witch, because this comic needs to get made. And Black Witch.
I'll talk to Milestone instead. Milestone Image. Get my number.
There you go. Who do you want to start with, Black Witch? Because as is tradition, we like to throw our guests under the bus and make them ask us a question, which they're not ready for. Do you want to start with Destiny or myself? And what do you want to ask?
Let me see. It just snowed there, so I'll shoot it to the both of you. Has it snowed recently? I know Korea got a really nice snowfall.
We live in like the southern part of Korea. We live in like a beach city, so we
Busan?
rarely. Yes.
Yeah.
We live in Busan, so we got no snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We had a sprinkle for like about 10 minutes because all the kids came into our workplace and they're like, "Teacher, there was snow outside." I was like, "No, there wasn't."
Yeah, it was
they were like,
literally
"No,
for
like
like 10 minutes.
yeah." So
Oh
like
my
it sprinkled
God.
for like half a second. Yeah, like it's funny if there was like a what are those satellite maps going around where like
Mhm.
if you looked at Korea, there was one little hole that was Busan that was like clear, and the rest of the country was like covered in snow.
Oh my
Which
goodness.
yeah, personally,
It's a little bit
not
of
upset about it.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
upset
not.
about it.
I'm not angry about it. Like we rarely get snow down here. Like rarely. So,
Aw.
There
and
was a
we've
t-
had a pretty warm winter, except for the wind. I think the wind is what's been killing us. Like,
Yeah, there was
Oh.
there was one it's just like situation a few years ago where they actually did get like a little bit of snow, but it was also more like freezing rain, and the entire city
Mhm.
almost shut down because like taxis couldn't get up hills. Like it was a whole thing. So
That is awful.
and I'm also from Canada, so I really don't miss the snow. That's one of the reasons I left. Um,
Oh, I
so
love
yeah, no,
snow.
I
I
like
like it
snow
for the
too
first.
if I don't have to like drive in it or do
Everybody says
anything
that
in
one.
it. If I can just look at it, then I like it. That's all. Maybe walk in it and then go back inside.
Just play Boyz II Men Let It Snow in the
Yeah. Oh,
background while
that's
you
my
stare at it.
jam. Oh my God. That is my jam. I love that fucking song.
I remember when Boyz II Men had guests at the Library of Congress when I worked at the Library of Congress. So it's like I'm pushing books down the hallway while hearing them practice and stuff. And it's snowing and it's outside the Library of Congress. And the Library of Congress was like freaking Hogwarts. So I was
That's
like, oh,
dope.
this
Seriously, it
is
sounds
nice.
like it. It
Yeah.
sounds like it. Every time you bring that place up, it's just like, what the hell goes on over there? Like, holy
Every
shit.
That's how I
time.
felt.
Cool.
That's how I felt 95% of the time. I remember
uh,
hearing the meme, like, where it was like, oh, I know when librarians, when they say, I'll be right back, they know where it's you guys standing on the top of a waterfall going, give me the other half of the amulet. And I was sitting here saying to myself, maybe if I stayed at the Library of Congress, that would have been actually something I would have said.
not outside of the realm of possibility. Awesome. Well, yeah. So snow. I don't miss it, and I'm scared as shit to go back to it. But how about you? You said you got some snow in?
Yes, we got a little bit of snow. It's not like how it was in Baltimore, like the blizzard in '96, where we were dumped with snow and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was like maybe an inch or two. So it looks nice. It looks almost like a Hallmark card on the trees, but not quite.
Nice.
That is
It's
nice.
just enough. Not enough to be a
Mhm.
pain in the ass, but enough to look pretty.
Yeah, but I like the one where it's like just snow drifts and snow drifts. But I also like sledding, so that's all I want to do.
There you go. All right. Well, let's keep it moving then. Black Witch, let's start with you first. What have you been playing lately?
What I have been playing, that is a really good question. I have been playing Not for Broadcast, honestly. Not for
Okay.
Broadcast I think it's by Tiny Games, I'm not sure. But
What
actually
is that? I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
it's
Indie
a
game
really
company?
good. It is very much an indie game company. They are basically, it's about censorship and stuff. Yay, I'm hecka political, but definitely it's about you are a broadcaster. You're the person who's running the broadcast, and you're making sure that you're running a broadcast in a news station, and you are pretty much just going, what gets played, what doesn't. It's all up to you. And the more and more that you wind up looking at what gets played and what doesn't, you start to notice that there's a bit of a political shift in your country between advance and disrupt. Now it becomes up to you, even though you're pretty much, the office grunt who all they do is just press play, is to decide what gets played, what gets censored.
So
And
this
also
Ooh.
they have, go ahead.
just looking at this, so it looks like it mixes like FMVs with like this kind of like, you know, you have like your console setup and then it's like actual filmed like FMVs, like actual music
Yes,
videos and
it
stuff.
is. They are. It is, and it's made by Not Games, and it was published by Tiny Build. So that's who made it.
That sounds
But
good.
pretty much. It is. It's really nice. They did a very good job. I do like the music sections, but also they have the story behind it is you're a person who just works there. And also you start getting letters and stuff. You have a family, you're making choices, and your choices indeed do matter. Do you start joining with censorship because they're telling you that's the right thing you need to do? Or do you think for yourself, even though there will be consequences for it? And also, they even have a pandemic section where they basically are talking about current events, but in the version of Mr. Snugglehugs, which is a little bear that goes wild, and how nobody really wants to really take it seriously.
This looks
Mm.
super interesting. Have you played a lot of it? Like, have you finished it,
I
or is it
have
just
played
something that you've been working on?
it is still considered in early access. They just came out
Okay.
with chapter 2. I just got finished playing that. It's really, 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 really good. I do like the diversity of the cast. They do actually have like black members of the cast who have speaking roles and things of that nature. They're not being
Mm.
pushed to the side. And also it's I really like how the story weaves together, and pretty much it's like it's all up to you. Do you start to censor things besides the usual swear words, or do you start to censor things because the government said, hey, we're the new government and we need you to make sure these people don't say these mean things about us? And but
Nice.
also, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said this looks really interesting. I might have to check this out. And you're saying it's episodic, right? So
It
chapter 2
is.
just came out?
Yeah, chapter 2 just came out. It's not, it's because they were at chapter 2 was supposed to come out way long time ago, but then the pandemic hit.
Right.
But
Yeah.
definitely, it's one whole entire game, so it's not like Telltale games where it's like chapter
Hello?
1, chapter 2. You can play it like if you play it now, you'll be playing it straight through.
Nice.
And the next
Okay.
chapter is chapter 3, the end, where you see how it ends and how your choices really affects things, especially since things are getting very hairy in your country.
This looks super dope. Yeah, for anybody
Yeah, I might
who's
check it out.
interested, this actually looks really, really cool. Nice. Thanks, Black Witch.
Hmm.
That's put a new game on my radar.
Yay!
Uh Destiny, what about you? What have you been playing lately, or what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been Well, we just played Disjunction and did our review
Yep.
for that. And I was really debating on whether to talk about this game or not because I just found it so disturbing. But I think I'm not going to talk about it. But what I am going to say is that no, maybe I will, and just put a disclaimer. Like, if you're very
Okay.
sensitive and like there are certain topics that child molestation and things like that you don't want to hear about, then you don't want to play this game. And I'm not going to go like too much into detail about it, but it's called 1 Week My Room, and it's a very like short indie game developed in Japan. I can't remember the name of the company or anything like that, but it's about this boy. He's in elementary school and he's locked in his room, and just from the art style, that's the reason why I picked it to check it out. It looks completely harmless, but like the story is like very twisted and depressing. So the boy is stuck in his room, and obviously you want to find out why. And he doesn't like necessarily come out right away and say he's stuck. He'll just be like, I've been in my room for like this long. And so like you're like, why is he stuck in his room? And it's like a point and click game where like you point on things and you click them, and then like it gives you tidbits of the story.
Hmm.
And then each time the story ends, it unlocks like some information for you that kind of gives you hints to continue going. So there's 10 of these things that you can unlock to get the full complete story, which I'm going to tell you about. So anyways, the first thing that like I clicked on, because I can't remember, I think he said he was hungry and there was no food. I clicked on the trash can and like it knocks the trash can over, and it says like there's wrappers from like old food and like sticky tissues. And I
Oh,
immediately felt
gross.
uncomfortable when I heard sticky tissues. Like, I just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, what the hell? And like in the room, there's like a radio, a table, a diary, a dresser, a closet, his bed, a doll, and like there's a hole in the wall. And as you're playing this game, you find out like this radio show that he listens to every Saturday is basically what keeps him, kind of breaks the monotony of what's happening. And it's like the only time that he feels happy, right? And he'll say like, he has this calendar and you'll see like on the calendar it says bro for Thursday. Every Thursday it says bro as in brother. And then every Saturday it says show as in the show he listens to. Right. And so this character actually does have DID, dissociative. Yeah.
Dissociative identity disorder. I know it's a mouthful.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I'm going to fuck it up. But yeah, he does have this condition, and you start to pick up on it. And actually after the gameplay, like I was just thinking about the game, and I like was trying to figure out what was going on because his mom created a doll for him because he asked for a little sister. So what happens in the beginning is that his parents get divorced, and you don't find that out until later on. And she's having a hard time taking care of him, like finding a job, and she doesn't have any relatives that'll help babysit him and things like that. So she's like guilt ridden. And because she's so guilt ridden that she ends up locking him in his room. Now obviously that's like emotional abuse and like very traumatic. And he's like 4 or 5. And then you find out like he hasn't been in school since July because the calendar says December. And then you find out that he has this big brother who comes to visit him every Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. And the big brother is actually his neighbor who's like obviously got some issues and threw a trash can against his wall, which broke a hole into the little boy's room. So then you find out that every Thursday, this man has been going into the little boy's room when he goes to bed and raping him.
Jesus Christ.
And so then you discover like he's created these 2 identities to help protect himself, kind of. So when all these bad things kind of happen to him,
he disassociates from it.
Yes. He's his
That's
little
actually
sister.
how the disorder works. Yes, yeah, that's exactly how it works, actually. Because your mind, that's why it's no longer called multiple personality disorder,
right,
but dissociative identity disorder, because you disassociate your identity from what's happening. Because your brain is so horrified.
A traumatic experience, right?
Like, your brain is so horrified. It's like, this is not happening to me. It is happening to someone else. And that is the dissociated identity. And since you're a kid, you're not old enough to have a full cohesive identity. So it's basically long-standing traumatic things such as CSA, child sexual abuse, which is not my trauma. But definitely, it doesn't allow the kid to develop it disrupts their development, their psychological and emotional development. That's why it can't show up if it's like after they turn 9 or 6. If the trauma happened and if they were like 9, 10, stuff is not as likely to have DID. That's why when they're like, oh yeah, they developed it when they were 14, it's like, that's like literally not true. And that's because it can't happen. But if it's like 6 or 7, then that kid's a candidate.
Right. So he was 4 or 5 when it happened. And so like anything that negative happens to him is his little sister, right? And then he created a big brother version of himself, right? Which is not necessarily the man who he calls big brother, but that version of himself, the big brother version of himself, is the one who's told him that he needs to write everything down in a diary.
Exactly.
And that he needs to like get the diary to the mother. So at one point, like, the only thing you can click on is the diary, and he like pushes it under the door. Now, this is like, because there's different endings, and in a few endings, he actually commits suicide. Like he opens up the balcony door and he just jumps. So the good ending is where like he pushes it under the door, and then you're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Because you see that he opens the balcony and he's standing up there to jump off. And then all of a sudden you see this black figure from behind grab him, and you realize it's his mother. And she had read the diary, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't know this was happening. I'm so sorry. And she explains Like, because you're like, why the fuck did she have him locked in there? And then she explains everything. So like I immediately messaged Matt after playing that game because I was crying.
Aww.
Because I was just like, I was so angry. And I was just like, I was angry at the guy who was the big brother who was, because he kills him because he made too much noise. And I don't think I told you guys that, but like, he mentions like, oh, big brother got really mad at me because I made too much noise the last time he came over to play. So if you don't do something to trigger him pushing the dresser in front of the hole, big brother will come and rape him and then kill him, right? And
Yeah.
I was just like, I was fucked up for like the whole day. And I know this person isn't real, but like I was angry. Like I wanted to physically
Because that's,
hurt
believe
him.
it or not, the story of some folks.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, what made them make this game? And I didn't want to research it anymore because if this was like based off true events, I think I just would have like broke down. Because it's like we work with kids, so it's very hard for me to like, you know, watch things like that, or like I purposely avoid things like that. So anyways, the game is called 1 Week, My Room. And if you do have DID, or if you're like comfortable with learning about it, like it handles the game in a very professional way, but it's just very sad overall.
It's a lot to play. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you are interested in learning about dissociative identity disorder, I do talk about it on my blog, thisblackwitch.com, but also there is DID research, DID-research.org, I believe. But I definitely have things on my blog where I talk about it and suggest like a ream of websites, because a lot of websites I have noticed, they don't do a very good job. It's almost like they just watched Split and was like, okay, this is exactly what it is. It's not. Split is a very terrible movie, and it's also a movie. It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
And stuff. So there's definitely that.
I'll definitely put those links in the comments. So if anybody finds themselves struggling, or anybody does want to learn more, then they know where to go. Yeah, I'll definitely put those links. That's awesome. Thanks. All right. Well, Dee, yeah, that sounds like a hell of a lot. I mean, do you recommend it even still? Like,
I think if somebody's okay with like those topics, yeah, I would recommend them playing it. I personally just was not expecting it. Like, it's
right, for sure. I mean,
story. It's like people who like horror, they watch horror movies, so like, you know, but it's not perverted. Even though the way I explained it, like he comes in and rapes him, it doesn't show anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what's happening.
Yeah.
So, if you're okay with checking out the game, if you like have had some experience with it, I don't know, that might be a trigger for you, so you might not want to play that game. But I was more telling people as a warning. Because
for sure.
Unless you research the game, you don't know. It doesn't look anything like that. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, it sounds like, you know, it was a hell of a lot for you to go through, but it also sounds like you learned more about it. So I mean, thanks for putting that on our radar, because I mean it sounds like an important game.
Check the game out myself.
Yeah, I mean we talk about mental health on here, so
exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, as nice as it can be, but
right.
Yeah. And very quickly, before we move on from you, Destiny, we did play Disjunction. That's a game that we reviewed. You can go check out the review out on our YouTube if you're curious. But I know you had a couple more thoughts that we couldn't fit into the review, Dee. So what did you think about Disjunction?
Yeah. Okay. So I like the gameplay overall. Like, I love the style and everything. One of my issues with it was that he just moved too slow. And I noticed that like on all the videos I see, it seems like he's moving fast, which I think is kind of like not false advertisement, but like when people get into the game, they're not going to realize how slow they're walking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like the idea of sneaking, I totally understand, because that's the stealth part of it. But like his walking is so slow. It's like he's running underwater. Which is really fucking annoying if like you die and have to go all the way through the game again.
So not exactly Solid Gear Snake.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when we were talking about it, you kind of said like it was like walking through mud, and like we talked about including it in the review, but like we kind of ran into that same issue. Every time that I was putting footage in, it looked like he was running completely normally. So it was kind of like he moves kind of slow, but it doesn't look like it. So there's just this kind of discrepancy between the two.
Right.
But I actually I found the same thing, especially like in the apartments. I didn't have as much of an issue with it in the actual levels, but yeah, when you're kind of in between levels and moving around a space, like they feel very sluggish.
Yeah. It bothered me in the levels just because I felt like maybe that was part of, I mean, I get it. It was part of the gameplay, but like if I wanted to move quickly over something, you can't.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, that was infuriating for me.
It's definitely by design so that you can't just kind of run through sight lines and stuff, but it does get annoying at different points for sure. I had a blast with the game. I finished it completely, and it's very much that kind of Hotline Miami but cyberpunk feel. So if you like that kind of style of game, you should definitely go check it out because it is fun. Just be aware that you will walk through a little bit of mud.
And
yeah,
you can't. There's no other save, so if you accidentally like click new game, that you're fucked. Like all your data. Yeah, there's no prompt. There's nothing. It just starts you off at the beginning and you cannot go back. Like if you hit continue, it just starts you off from the last place you were. So if you start at new game, then that's where you're starting at from continue.
But you know what?
All of that.
You know what kills me though is that new continue is under new game. So like usually when you load into a game, especially loading into it for the second or third time, they usually move continue up to like the first option. But like if you're just kind of hammering down X to kind of get through the the beginning, totally fly into the new game.
And that's what happened to me. I had already put like 3 hours into the game, and then I lost all of it, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do this again. And I tried playing it again, but I was just like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, just super frustrating.
No.
Otherwise, on my end, I finished Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but I fucking adore that game, and I will have a review coming up on the channel soon, but it became one of my favorite games ever, which I wasn't expecting going into it. There's just so much about it, and it's such a radically kind game with characters who just like continually like look for the good in others. It's just fantastic. So keep an eye out for the review coming soon, but if you're curious about it, if you're looking for a fantastic JRPG, check it out. And I've also
what's the name of it again?
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Ooh, Yakuza? Yakuza?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Wow, aggressively kind. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They swapped out the main character. It's not Kiryu anymore. They have a new character in with like a whole new story and everything, and they've actually switched it into like a turn-based RPG.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot to love there. And like I've played a bunch of the other ones and I had a great time and they're some of my favorite games, but this one just takes a cake. The way that tells the story and the characters and just the good that the game carries is fantastic.
Yeah, reading your playthrough on it made me want to check it out.
Yeah, so good.
Not yet, but
Yeah. And the other game I've been playing is Temtem. And I've been having a lot of friggin' fun with Temtem. And for anyone who's unaware, it's basically Pokemon, but on everything else, not just Nintendo property. You can catch it, like it's still in early access, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. They're rolling out worlds continuously, like new islands where you can go and explore. So it's not finished yet. But it is cheaper now because it isn't finished yet. So if you're curious about it, they have like, I think like 100 different critters so far. And the entire game is all double battles. There are no single battles. So that's just something that's majorly different. And I'll have a review going for that up sometime soon as well. But I'm having a blast with it so far. It's friggin' tough. Like, I'm talking like Pokemon Red level tough. Like, because back in the day, that shit was difficult. And like Pokemon's just gotten easier and easier throughout the years as they've made it more and more of a game for, for kids, which is totally fine. But like,
was it always a game for kids?
Yeah, but like there was also always like, at least at the beginning, the first couple games had some difficulty to them. Like you couldn't just breeze through it. Um, while the latest Pokemon, like the last few Pokemon games, they hold your hand so much, and like you have to try to die. Like it's
Wow.
yeah, like they've really made it super easy, and not to take away from its charm, because I mean Pokemon kind of always has that inherently built in a little bit. I've blacked out in Temtem more than I have in probably the last like 4 Pokemon games combined. Um,
Wow.
Hmm.
which like for me isn't a problem. Like I've missed this kind of challenge in Pokemon, and just kind of figuring out, and it's also the kind of, you have that bit of that, oh my god, I just caught this cool one. I have no idea if it's good or not. I have no idea what it's going to evolve into, which like I haven't had that feeling in Pokemon in a while, just because usually Nintendo will be like, look at all these directs. Um, so
That
it's
is
great.
take your money on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I'm having a blast with Temtem. So if anybody's curious, if anybody's looking for to scratch that Pokemon itch, and it's also an MMO esque. You can play online. You can play co-op with other people. And something cool that they do is actually, like, if you're playing co-op with someone, and like there are certain moves that, depending on the type that your partner is using, will like make your moves better and stuff. Like they've put in a lot of work to make it very, like, to kind of make it into a community like feel. It's really great. So if anybody's curious about Temtem, check that shit
Oh,
out.
that's nice.
Yeah. Moving on to our main topic, Destiny. I'm gonna throw to you here, and then I'll let you throw to Black Witch after that. But tonight we're going to be talking about online dating and kind of dating in virtual reality. Tell me a little bit more about what you guys wanted to talk about.
So, the reason why we wanted to talk about virtual dating is because everybody wants to date. And right now, people have been talking about their pandemic boo and all of that kind of shit, which is crazy. I'm like terrified to meet people right now because you just don't know what they've been doing, right? But luckily, Black Witch has come on to tell us some ways that she has been trying to find companionship and love. And my first question is, what platforms would you suggest for people to use, since we can't just go out and meet people in bars? And then for those people who don't really like going out and meeting in bars, or like clubs, or the more antisocial of us, like me. So yeah, what platforms are you using?
Right now, sorry, but basically right now for me, the platform I had been using were basically Steam, but also mobile. So I do use dating apps. So Coffee Meets Bagel, Hinge, things of that nature. I've never been on Tinder, so I can't say anything about it. Bumble, I can say it sucks. People, which is supposed to be one for gamers, it sucks.
Okay.
Coffee Meets Bagel doesn't suck as much and stuff, so I recommend that one. But that's like for an everybody everything, because I prefer to read the profiles and stuff rather than just go pass, 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 pass. Oh wait, no, pass, 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 pass. That swiping bores me. And also pretty much so that and again, I am so sorry everybody if you hear me clearing my throat.
No, it's
It
okay.
is. It's okay. It's not as fun like as the DJ Cool song, "Let Me Clear My Throat," but definitely,
Yeah.
but
That song. Okay, go ahead.
love it.
Sorry.
But it's okay. But definitely, and also, I would recommend with folks, doing things online like IMVU, which is an old school one. I have a virtual reality
Oh,
machine.
I
Yes,
remember
yes,
IMVU. They keep showing
yes,
the ads. They've really updated their avatars. Like everybody looks
yes.
like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put this
It's
out there,
okay.
but a lot of people look like thoughts. Like, on
Yeah.
IMVU. I'm just like, yeah, where are your clothes at, girl?
Yes. And it's like, wow, you're doing it for the digital streets.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
The digital
And
streets.
I love it.
um, And honestly, it's like, so I definitely recommend, there's a lot of options. I mean, I'm a gamer and I'm extremely introverted. So these are old hat for me.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, hey, pandemic has hit. So now I got to come up with some new ideas. No, I don't go to clubs. I don't go to bars or things of that nature. I think the only time I've ever gone to like clubs or anything of that nature is music venues. And I'm usually backstage. So
Right.
not
Yeah.
exactly meeting guys.
Right.
And
So
yeah.
you mentioned Steam as one of those platforms. How do you use Steam for dating? Or like how do you use Steam to kind of try
This
and
is
meet
what
new
you
people?
do. You do it after you met the person. That's the
Ah.
So you're using Steam as the date, right?
bingo. Yes, because
Okay.
you don't meet folks.
Oh, I
You
see.
know, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Don't
gonna
it's
say.
Well,
Did they
Val
integrate
says
like a
don't
dating
do it.
side to it that I missed?
No, no.
Like,
She's just typing in random names and friending people and be like, hey,
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 slide into your
hey.
Steam DMs.
Yeah, it's Valve. If you're listening, please don't implement this. Don't look at people and then look at yourself. Don't.
What if they did it that you just see their top 5 played games and their most recently 5 played games, and then you can swipe left or right?
Ooh,
And at
that
that
would
point, they
actually
would
be kind of dope, though.
Yeah, but that people does that, and you still don't know if you're going to wind up getting like a wife beater, a mass shooter, or a
That's
combination
That
true.
of
of.
true.
But you
That is
still get
true.
you still get to know them though, because it's not like you're gonna swipe left and be like, all right, let's meet up and like make love and all that kind of stuff. Like you're still gonna be like, let's play a couple of games first. And then if they have
Yeah,
like gamer
no,
rage and things like that, you could be like, nah, son, you're not for
no,
me.
no. Steam, I'm pretty certain right now, if the folks at Steam/Valve are going, this is a great idea, like their lawyers are probably like silently shaking their heads. No, we got enough problems. No, no,
Don't
no,
do it. Don't do it.
no.
I just think they should put it into beta. That's all I'm saying. Just try it out. Just try it out. Just try it out.
Facebook has tried dating, so if it's not working for Facebook, who has Oculus, by the way, which I do hope that they get sued to divorce from. But if Facebook
That'd
is
be nice.
like it's a bad idea, it's not. It's like it's really like creepy. And
So
plus,
what
with
makes it
people, go ahead.
okay, so my question is what makes it creepy on those platforms but not creepy on an actual dating platform? Like aren't you
I
meeting
think
like
that
same strangers, right?
I think that for the Facebook part, because Facebook has a really bad problem with privacy, as in they don't
Mhm.
know how to respect it.
Okay.
And not only that, but also it's too close to somebody being, if somebody happens to be really off the wall, they can literally like suss out who you are on Facebook. It's hard to run away. Whereas
Right.
with Coffee
That's
Meets
true.
Bagel, Hinge, Bumble, blah, 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 you're divorced from those identities that you already have established, your Steam identity, your Facebook identity and stuff. So yeah,
Right, right.
No, I
You
totally
could
agree. I like playing
you
devil's advocate. I don't like when people slide into my DMs on
yes, please
Instagram
don't.
or on
Oh God,
Facebook.
no.
Like when people try to hit me up or when random dudes try to add me, which happens all the time. I'm like, I don't fucking know you.
Thank you. And I usually am not very nice. Anybody who
Yeah.
has read my blog knows exactly how I am. Good questions are appreciated, bad questions are eviscerated. And I do live up to evisceration. So, guys who would interact with me about it, I'm a nasty person. I'm a very nasty person. Like, I have even written about it on my blog. I'm like, hey, this idiot contacted me. Look at how I literally rip it
I mean,
apart.
sometimes you have to be, right? Because you
Oh,
can't,
yes.
and this is like the shitty thing about just dating in general. And I don't want to turn this all into dating, but like men, not all men, okay, guys listening, because I know a majority of the people who listen are men, but a lot of guys are very toxic about it and they do not take no for an answer. They take it as a challenge.
And for the men who are the not all men, you need to check your friends because they are
Yes.
those men. Those
Yes.
they are your friends. So
Yeah.
not all
and,
men, y'all need to check them.
No means no.
and then you have those
And
good
yeah,
guys that are like, I'm just trying to be your friend. What do you mean?
the friend
Yeah, and I
zone, the
don't like that
ladies and
either.
the
Yeah.
McQueens.
Yeah,
If I say I don't want to be friends, then I don't want to be friends. Like, damn. It's not a
Yes, find
movie.
somebody
You
else.
know what
Yes,
I mean?
find someone else.
Like, no.
so then, so let's say you meet this guy on a Bumble, on a Coffee Meets Bagel, et cetera, right? You get to talking a
Uh-huh.
little bit. Is
Yeah.
Steam usually your go-to, or is there something
No,
that you
it
kind of prefer as a
depends.
first date quote unquote,
Actually,
or
it
like
really depends. Based on the person. I'm a gamer, so I prefer games and stuff.
for
So
sure?
already, if you're not a gamer, that means or probably the conversation might dwindle down. But if anything, it really depends. I don't go with Steam unless I feel comfortable enough because I am giving you my Steam information and stuff. So if things
Right.
go way south, it's like, oh dear God, now. But definitely. I would definitely suggest like, hey, what digital things? Like maybe I'll suggest a game on Newgrounds or maybe a game through a different type of video game, something to interact with and stuff so I can kind of get to know the person and stuff because I'm not the movie and a dinner type even in when we
Okay.
were like in the physical world. I would rather go to a comic
Right.
book store and hang out with the person there.
Oh man, you might get hit up. People are gonna listen to this podcast and be like,
Oh,
"Oh,
y'all
she's the
should really
one,
not
dog.
do that.
She's the one." All
No,
right.
honey, I'm not. I'm like, you find another one.
So that kind of segues into my next question. What games would you recommend for going on these virtual dates? Like, what kind of games do you like to play with these guys that you meet up with online?
Honestly, like full disclosure, is not. Unfortunately, it's not plural. It's only one. So this is my testing. Yay, my
Hmm.
yay science. I'm only testing with one only because it's been that successful so far with one. Everybody else, it's like, oh wow, you're awful, you're awful, you're awful. You probably participated in the Capitol riots, so you're very awful. And I'll pass it to that guy. You're awful. You're
Jesus. Okay.
So yeah, but hey, one is all you need. I am monogamous AF.
There you
And
go.
yes, but definitely, it's for me, the games I would play is something that I would use my virtual reality headset for because I have it. Why not?
Mhm.
And
Right.
also in virtual reality, you don't have to do social distancing. And definitely it helps me get to know the person, see how they act, see how they interact. Thankfully, there are games where if the other person doesn't have a virtual reality headset, that's perfectly fine. There are games that are called asymmetrical VR, where one
Mhm.
person has VR headset and another person has a regular computer.
Yeah.
So that works. Carly and the Reaper Man is a very good one. It's a puzzle game. I'm not good at puzzle games. And usually puzzle games make me rage quit. But when you're playing with someone else, it's also very good because you do have to work together. So you get to see how you both solve problems together. Do you start bickering with each other or getting frustrated at the game?
Yes, and then it's also kind of like, how are we talking about this? How are we giving directions? Are you getting frustrated by me not knowing how to explain something, or is this something we're trying to figure out
Mm,
together?
I think that's really
Bingo,
smart,
jingo.
actually. Bingo jingo.
Because when you're in a relationship, problems happen.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
matter how great that relationship is, issues always bobble up, and how you handle them helps determine if the relationship will even work out or not. If you find out, maybe you might find out that the person that the guy or girl that you're having a date with has a bit of a mean streak. Like that when they're frustrated, they always slide in a couple snips at you. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh God,
yeah.
I've had that happen actually
mm-hmm.
the other day. Anyways,
Aww.
we won't go into. No. Aw, he was a dickhead.
Bullet dodged. Bullet
Yeah.
dodged.
So my next question is, all right, so have how do I want to say this? How many of these virtual dates have actually led to like where you felt comfortable enough to like meet up with this person? Would you say a
Oh,
lot or just a
actually,
few?
since I've had several virtual dates with only one guy and stuff, which all I need because yay monogamy. And
Right.
yes,
Mhm.
it does. So yes, and stuff. So happy to announce there is a Mr. Black Witch.
There
Oh
you
shit!
go.
Congrats,
Damn.
dude. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Are we getting the exclusive on this? God damn.
Yeah,
Paparazzi.
like I'm ooh. So like you guys are like when did you guys make it official? How many dates did you go on? How many virtual dates did you go on before you actually like met up?
Be honest, we met through Coffee Meets Bagel. That's why I can't talk trash as much as I would like to about CMB. Because they'd probably like, We met at the end of 2020. And also we talked for about a week or so. And but we talked every single day. And
Right.
Right.
so we would, and he's a gamer, I'm a gamer. So it worked out very well for us. to
Mhm.
play like virtual reality games. If only there were more VR co-ops that weren't puzzles and stuff where you get to work
Yeah.
together. Because even Steam, where they kind of dropped the ball, they were like, "Why don't you guys play Among Us for a co-op game?" And I was like, "This is a horrible first date game because you're just
Yeah.
lying and killing
Yeah,
each
because
other."
you're trying. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think my date was the fucking imposter. Send him out. Right.
He's like,
Yeah,
but I
but
was
Hey,
telling
hey,
you the truth the whole time. Yeah,
that
it felt like you were a liar. So,
that could
yeah,
work. 'Cause I mean, that could expose some red flags, right? I
yeah, it
mean,
could.
it could, but let's do it
Trust
in a way that's not
issues
going to
right there.
build it. Yeah, let's not build the. Let's not cement them already in. At least Carly and the Reaper Man, it's like you can already find out because there
yeah.
are some complicated puzzles in there. And so pretty much we would do pretty much virtual reality dating. Like we had our very first one on the very first day of the year.
Mhm.
And
Aw,
so yeah,
New
so
Year's
January
Day.
1. And so pretty much we would have virtual reality dates pretty much almost every night, if not every night and
Because
stuff.
it's so
So there
easy
was
to do that, right? It's much
yeah,
easier.
because
You
you don't have
just
to
log
worry.
in. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, you don't have to go to a restaurant or anything. You don't have to worry about like times or like of like one person going, "Oh, I work too far from that, dude. We can't go. Maybe we should go here. Oh no, are they closed? And it's in a pandemic, so you
Oh,
don't want to go to a restaurant. I mean, please,
I
Right.
yes, everyone don't.
yeah, and it's
But
also it completely takes like money out of the equation there too, right? Because I mean, like that can be difficult, especially in a pandemic, right? Like
Yeah.
to be like, do we have enough money to
absolutely,
go to this
I
place,
already
right?
have the
Et cetera,
games.
et cetera. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, and VR game does not cost, more than a meal at a really fancy restaurant where you might or might not
Exactly.
like the meal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that for me, I prefer really nice restaurants where you have to speak in other languages to order the food. So, and I have been on dates where they just staring at me and because they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll go to this place you recommend," and I'm gonna impress her. And then I'm sitting here speaking like Japanese or Korean or French, and they're just staring at me like, "Oh my god."
I'm not even
And
gonna
they're
lie,
looking
that would
at
be me. I would be like, what
they're
do you
looking at you, they're
recommend?
like they're looking at you like, "We're at Taco Bell. Why are you speaking Korean?"
Yeah. I
Yeah,
would be so mad if somebody took me to fucking Taco Bell for our first date. Get out of here, man.
I'm usually not very like, "Hey, wine and dine," because I'm literally not. Just take me to a comic book store and I'm pretty happy. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, if it's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do taco," I'd be like, "Okay." If it's one of those like seat of our pants type dates, whatever happens, happens, and it's like, "Oh, I'm hungry." "Oh, yeah, I'm hungry too," and you see a taco, then I'm cool with it. But if
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the itinerary was, that is included in there, then it's like, okay. I
So
mean, meet up in a taco Bell to make sure they're not a serial killer.
yeah.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
wanted to ask you, I mean, you've talked a lot about VR and using VR as this application, especially with asymmetrical, right? Where
Yes.
only one person can have the headset. Where do you see dating going in this kind of virtual reality space? Like, do you see this becoming kind of more of the norm 10 years from now, or do
I
you think this
seriously
is going to
don't
kind of
know. Because I have hardly ever heard of other people using virtual reality to date. Even when I go around and I tell, "Hey, I use it for dating," they're like, "Wow, that's a good idea." And honestly, it's like that makes me think that it's not common.
It
I
actually
mean,
is. And I'll tell you after you say what you're gonna say,
okay.
what platform people use it for.
Hopefully it's not VR chat.
No,
Oh, thank God,
not
because
VR
it's
chat.
like that one. It's like if you're meeting. I mean, hey, if you can meet friends on VR chat, but you wind up meeting folks where it's like you don't want to meet anybody ever, even in the virtual world.
Listen,
Mm.
if Garfield starts walking up to you, you know to walk away.
Yeah, but definitely, it's like I see it can have potential for growth because it's there, and especially with a pandemic, people got to get creative. But also sometimes that entry level can be a little big for some people, such as a
Mhm.
VR headset is pretty expensive, and depending on what kind
Right.
you
Yeah.
get, most of them needs a pretty beefy computer to run on and
Right.
stuff. So boom, you're already blowing maybe over 1,000 just for the hopeful chance of meeting someone. At that point,
Right.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, oh God, no. But
So
so hopefully it's man expanding. But go ahead.
because I can totally like as we've been talking, I was kind of thinking about it. How well do you think a VR dating thing? You remember that show, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. But like, if there was like the contestant was like standing, and then there was like 3 different people behind like a veil, and they would hear a little bit about each one, right?
I know this show
I
you're
remember
talking
that. I
about.
know what you're
You
talking
know what I mean?
about.
And it's like, but
Was
let's
it
take that.
Blind Date? Was it called Blind Date?
Yes, I think no, because
No.
no.
Oh my
No,
Blind Date
god.
Blind
is the
Date.
one where they have
Blind
was
Date
the one
was
with all the
something like.
captions.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blind
that
Date was
was.
something
I
else.
loved Blind Date though. That shit was hilarious.
But,
Okay,
small
I'll
side
look
note:
it up.
my high school gym teacher was on Blind Date. Funny fucking enough.
Oh my
Um,
god, really?
yeah, it did
Did
not
it
go
work
well.
out? Okay.
No, not at all.
Oh Lord.
Um, but yeah, like even just like kind of in that way, right? Where it's just like, okay, the 3 hopefuls, everybody tech, behind a curtain, everybody say a little bit about yourself, and then kind of move on to like a shared dating space. Like, where do you kind of see like in terms of the application side going? Is there something that you would like to see, even like say if it is something like a comic book shop or an arcade, or like where it kind of looks like a shared
I
space to
think
exist in?
I think it would be good to have like more video games or anything to interact with the person with, because one thing I do like about VR is that, for example, I can make a whole environment through like say Tilt Brush and we can just hang out there. But
Mhm.
also it's like I would like to interact with that person and stuff
Right.
versus just staring at them or well staring at their avatar and stuff. So I would prefer games where it's like we're working together and stuff, because also the more you do stuff like that, the more you get to know them, the more you get to learn about them.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was a game on, I don't know if it was on PC as well, but there was one on PSVR and I'm forgetting the name for it, but it was basically like a virtual bar. And while you were at
Mhm.
that virtual bar, you could play pool, you could play darts, so like there was interactivity within the space.
I
Um
think that I've seen a game like that, but also I was thinking of a different bar game where you start fighting everybody, and I was like, that's
I know
not.
which one you're talking about, yeah. I think it's literally
Yeah.
called Bar Fight.
It's called Drunken Bar Fight, but the one
Yeah.
where you just go into a bar and not, if you're on a date, not engage in domestic violence.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
the show is called The Dating Game.
That's what it is. Right in front of us.
Yeah, at first I thought you
wow.
were talking about the one with Jenny McCarthy, but that was on MTV and that was like 50 people and that was called Singled Out.
Oh God.
Yeah, I remember that. But okay, so before you came on, I wanted to do some like a little bit of research
Hmm.
on like platforms that people are using to date. And of course you brought up IMVU. And
Hmm.
another one is Second Life, and
Yes,
another
I
one from
remember
like
them.
way back in the day, people who would meet on IRC. Do you
Oh,
guys know
good
what
Lord. I
yeah,
do know it.
IRC. So which I thought was really interesting. Um so I have a couple of friends who have actually like met their significant others on Second Life. And Second Life is basically like a social platform, but within that social platform, there are things you can do. So you can go to the movies, you can go like play pool, you can play different kinds of card games with them. Like it's very interactive because it's like a user created world. So there's
Hmm.
like a lot of things you can do that can simulate going on a real date. Now I don't know much about IMVU because I played IMVU or I tried it out maybe for like a week or something, and I was just like, this is too much. I look like a noob, and I don't want to put that much money into like
I
making
used to be
myself
a
look better.
hardcore IMVU character, so you can definitely be able to have like dates there because they allow you to, kiss, hug, and interact with people. So it's very much a very good one to use if you don't have a VR headset. That's like the next best thing. Second Life, which
Okay.
is also who created VR chat. So Second Life, you have it only if you're happy to have having it run slowly because it needs way too much of your computer. It's like seriously, get IMVU instead, or if you have a VR headset, just get VR chat. But please know you're going to need a therapist afterwards.
Ooh, okay. Just
From
dealing with
everything I've
people in
seen from
general.
VR chat, it seems to be much more just like utter chaos. I've never actually played it myself, but it just
You
seems to
can
be
make your
more like,
own worlds, so that's the only saving grace. But I have not tried VR chat because it's like, no, I've tried it a little bit, but then I just was there for 5 nanoseconds, and it's like, no, absolutely not.
nah, I'm good.
Understandable. I think like you are able to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people bring not really their A game to virtual
Dude, they
reality
bring
chat.
their Z game.
Yeah. So like, but I mean that weeds them out, I guess.
It
If you're there
does because
looking
it's
for
like,
love.
holy. I would use that as the next step after, because I mean the dating apps, because you're specifically there to date. And so it's like if you're comfy enough, because again, like you don't want to have to share your Steam account with somebody who's probably going to track you down or things of that nature
Yeah.
and stuff,
Well,
especially because it's Steam, they're not that great about dealing with like harassment.
right. And I honestly think like you're always taking a chance when dating somebody. I know this is going to sound terrible, but I think everybody's a serial killer until proven
Fair
otherwise.
enough.
And it's just because like I'll read stuff where people like got married and their husbands will like kill them after they have like kids and stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck happened there? John,
Yeah.
they were a happy family until, you know what I mean? So like,
Oh
I'm
man.
always very paranoid about meeting people. And I would rather probably try dating on like virtually and like taking time to get to know somebody instead of just immediately meeting up with someone. And I've tried dating apps and I don't like them because I feel like
They are
there's this
crappy.
idea that sex is immediately involved in it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like, well,
Yeah,
you're
and
here
that's
to
why I
date.
prefer that's why I
Yeah.
preferred like Coffee Meets Bagel, because you read, it's like, oh hey, you read this person. If they don't hardly have anything in their profile, you know to pass on them.
Yeah.
And because
Not
it's
only
like
that
not
though,
everybody that is interested in
sometimes they'll read your profile and like they won't put that in their profile. You know what I'm saying? And even though they read it in yours, they still like I said, it's like a challenge.
that.
And I
It
also
is,
think
and
it depends on
go ahead.
I think it also depends on like how you look, how you present yourself as well. But then I just think there are some sick people on there because it's free and they get on
Mm-hmm.
there and like you cannot imagine how many dick pics I've gotten. Like
Ew.
not, and it's not something you ask for, obviously, but
I
it's
have
just like,
never
here
gotten
you
one through a
go.
dating app. That I am
You
so
are
grateful.
lucky, girl.
I
You are
know.
lucky. I
That's
used
how I
to
give
post them
myself.
on my Facebook,
Oh
like the
god.
conversations.
No, what you
Yeah,
need to
because
do
I
is
was like, that's what
monetize
you
it.
fucking get.
Oh no,
No,
I
what you
completely
need
understand why. I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
No, what you need to do is monetize it as a gallery, which is a pay-per-view, and you like get an OnlyFans and everything else in
I
between
should do
and
that.
stuff. And make sure
should.
you text the person's like info to it of like, and do it like it's an art gallery and stuff.
I agree. I don't
What
know
I-
why
monetize
guys
it.
think we want dick pics. Like that's
It doesn't
why.
work, guys. If you are
It
listening
doesn't work.
seriously, it doesn't work. It doesn't
It's
work
not,
at all. I've
that's
never
not the
known.
kind of I've never
Yeah,
met a
I've never
woman
known
who's
a
like,
single woman. Yeah. Who is like, yeah, he sent me a picture of his dick, and then
and then I
no,
fell
I've
in
never had.
love. It was
I've
great.
never have known a
Love it.
single woman on this planet, and I know women from different countries and different parts of the world.
Yeah.
It really does not work. It turns us off. And then, like the only time someone had sent it to me, I actually wound up founding their family, their job, and I sent it to them. And because I was like, nope, this is
See?
inappropriate.
Nope, yeah.
You don't
That's
want to
cool.
send your dick pics to Witch because she'll fucking blast you. She'll blast you.
She'll
Hi.
find-
and then I'll
find your
post it
mom.
on my blog. Oh, I will do way worse than that. I have a long history of it.
See, I'm
where I
nice
just
compared
rip
to
people
Witch.
apart.
I just like
I
put it on my
know.
Facebook and like let people laugh at it. But like obviously
Unlike
not the
Black and
actual dick.
Taylor.
Like I blur it out a little bit because you can't like just post a dick on Facebook. But yeah.
That's why
Not
you need this
anymore.
whole of a gallery.
Yeah.
That's why you need a gallery, and you need to put money, and you got to make sure it's pay to play and stuff, so you can make good money on it and stuff, and just put that little lien on it so you can make a lot of money, and they can't
I mean,
do anything
right? Because
about
they
it.
gave me the picture, so now it's mine.
Bingo!
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Do
You gotta
whatever
think
I
like
want
a
with it.
lawyer. You gotta
Yeah.
think like an enterprising lawyer, and you can start using everything about them because they gave you that information and stuff. Like, so guys, please don't do that because people like me exist, and I am more than happy to give other people tips on how to screw over people who send them dick pics.
He's a white male in his 40s, married with 2 kids. This is his penis.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is also a little bio about him because this is what the information he has openly given over.
He likes chicken, but only fried.
Yes, and he lives in South Dakota, and this, that, and the third.
He drives a blue Subaru. His name's Bald.
Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, do not send people your dick pics. Use your personality, and if you don't have a great personality, learn to get one. Seriously,
Yeah.
you'll win more people over that way.
I mean, like, you can send dick pics if the girl asks for a dick pic. I mean,
Yeah,
like, I
if
don't
it's
know if that's
solicited.
going to happen, but, like, if she doesn't ask for it, she doesn't want it. Point
Bingo.
blank, period.
Point blank.
So then, I feel like this idea of online dating can be really daunting, right? And I feel like a lot of people get really, really nervous about it. Like Destiny was saying, right? I mean, everybody's a serial killer until there ain't.
Yeah.
But like, what words of advice do you have for someone who's thinking about getting into online dating, but maybe is just nervous about it, or you know what I mean, like, or you know, where's a good place to start? Where does someone begin wading into the world of online dating?
Learn what you want. And not only that, but also, I mean, I've never used Tinder, but Tinder is known for being a hookup app. So if
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
not interested in hooking up, don't go to places where you're hooking up. Where Coffee Meets Bagel, Match, well, actually, no, Match is very like homophobic. So ignore Match, screw Match. But
Fuck
definitely,
Match.
you know, definitely, and not literally because they don't deserve it. But
Yeah.
honestly, like definitely try to like look at yourself and think of, okay, what would I like to present about myself if you wanted to talk about yourself? So, you know, post pictures of you having fun and things of that nature, but also, you know, be smart about what you post. I always would just simply post a lot of like facial pictures because I am a person and
Mhm.
stuff. And definitely write about yourself. Make yourself sound interesting. Look at how people write bios and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So you can put your best self forward and stuff. And that's for folks of any gender and stuff. You know, if you're putting a shirtless picture on there, regardless of what gender you are, that could give folks, you know, a different impression of you, unless you're like, hey, I work
That's
at the beach. I'm a lifeguard. Da 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 da
mhm.
da. You know, it's like, just do you want to date, or you know, then if so, just show who you are the best that you can. And you know, just talk and icebreakers, even if you're a girl and stuff, because some girls are afraid to like approach. And for me, I'm the opposite. I rather approach. If a guy approaches me, it's an automatic no, just about. But if I approach, it's like at least I know what I want. And, you know, so both sides talk to each other, girls. If you're going to sit here and dilly dally and go, I'm waiting for him to talk to me, prepare to get turned into a skeleton, because if you want to be happy, you actually have to work for it.
like go after it. Yeah, I agree. Are there
Yeah.
anything like actually I have some things, like some things that you should avoid
Yes.
when on dating apps. Um Guys who don't show their face,
Yes. That or
avoid
show guns. If they show guns,
or
please don't do it.
yeah, guys who take pictures from a distance and you can't really see them,
Or a
don't
crowd, so you can't tell which
you
one it is.
can't tell. Yeah. Usually when it's a group of guys and like they don't single out which one they are, this is horrible. I know this is horrible to say, that they're always, almost always the most least attractive dude in that group. Like, so like just if you don't want to like hurt their feelings, just go ahead and swipe, you know.
If they are
Um
flashing a lot of like rich stuff like Armani, things of that nature,
yes.
if unless you that's the type of guy you want, which honestly, different strokes for different folks. I thought I would find them annoying, but hey, you do you. But definitely, you know, that could pose because they're thinking that I don't need to have a personality. I don't need to be a good person. I have
I have
Alexis.
money. Yeah.
Bingo. So yeah.
So, like, pay attention to that and do your research on the apps that you're signing up on. There are so many people who will just sign up on an app because, like, oh, well, this is one. It says it's dating. Do your research. See the type of like crowd that pulls in. Like she said, Tinder
Bingo.
is
Yeah.
known for hookups. If you don't want to do any hooking up, don't go on Tinder trying to find a meaningful relationship. Not that it's
And
not happened before. It
okay.
definitely has. But like the idea behind Tinder is definitely I'm down to play. So
And not only that, but also look for apps that are definitely meant for you. For example, if you're LGBTQ plus, you know, there are apps. Unfortunately for me, I am hetero, even though I'm demisexual, I am hetero romantic. So I can't speak personally about it, but definitely look for apps that are definitely focused for you. You know, it's really so that way you can get the best crowd that you can. But
mm,
definitely, yeah, that I really do recommend, you know, also about like see what crowds they pull in. And also some apps, they literally don't shell out a bunch of money and stuff because these apps are going to try to use that fear of loneliness of the nobody's going to
oh
want you,
yeah.
nobody's going to love
Yeah.
you until you pay us hundreds of dollars. Don't do that. That's not very cool of them at all. And so that's also part of why I stayed with Coffee Meets Bagel for a while, because they weren't like trying to jab you with money. You can still functionally use the app without, you know, having to shell out your pockets. And, you know, but also because you have the old school OK Cupid and stuff. Basically, if they write something, read it.
Hmm.
Sometimes the red flags are right there.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a lot that people can use to try and get into the data game, because I know it can be daunting, and I know it's and even right, like you said, Black Witch, like writing about yourself is super important, but not everybody knows how to do it. So I think you shared some great tips there. So anybody who's getting out into the dating world, good luck, be strong, do your thing, and like everyone, like Destiny and Black Witch said, be smart.
Yeah.
And stay safe.
And start a gallery with the dick pics.
A paid gallery.
A paid gallery.
Paid gallery.
There you go.
That's the part that's important.
Paid per
And
dick.
by the way, this is by no means any one of us asking for dick pics to come our way to start any galleries.
Hey,
no.
Not an invitation.
Not at all. I'm not asking for any dick pics to like start a gallery and pay off my student loans. That's not what I'm asking for. But if you want to help me pay off my student loans and help me start my dick pic gallery, I am open to suggestions. I will be judging hardly.
Me, I'm just going to sit here and ruin your life, literally get you fired from your job, maybe have the FBI knock on your door if not your mom and stuff. That's kind of my thing.
But not right now because she's happily in love. So let's,
Yes, but that doesn't stop, guys. They'll be sitting here. And also, I never tell dudes like, hey, I have a boyfriend, because you should respect me as the individual, whether I'm single, whether I'm dating, whether I'm whatever and stuff. So if you can't respect me as an individual, I reign hell.
So then there you go. If you want to help Destiny pay off her student loans, if you want your life to be destroyed by Black Witch, then send dick pics. Otherwise, kindly fuck off. Let's move over.
Or just do that already.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move over onto some news. Our first piece of news is coming from IGN by the way of Matt Purslow. Matt writes, Sega confirms Sonic the Hedgehog voice actor departing role. Following Roger Craig Smith's post, the official Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account confirms Smith's departure as the voice of the iconic character after 10 years. The full statement from Twitter reads, For over 10 years, Roger Craig Smith has been an integral part of the Sega family. He brought the voice of Sonic to life, and we are forever grateful for his never-ending enthusiasm in helping the community and spreading joy. Thank you, Roger, for all you've done for Sonic. So this is Sega commenting on a little bit before Roger Craig Smith put out his own tweet, and I'll read his very quickly. Well, 10 years was an amazing run. Onward to new zones. Much love to the fans who've been so kind. It's been an honor. And then he has a large blue broken heart. So it does, this is about as far as either Sega or Roger has gone into comment on the situation, but people online seem to be speculating that it wasn't an amicable departure, that there does seem to be some tension in the water.
Oh, yeah. He Destiny, didn't thank the company at all.
Yeah, Destiny, what do you think?
I think
this guy's been a great Sonic, so it's heartbreaking that...
I think it's heartbreaking. I think that it was not amicable. Like, he didn't say anything about the company. Like, it was great working with them. I appreciate it. He only thanked the fans, which is super telling. And he had the big blue broken heart. So it sounds like it's really sad. But sorry, I'm clearing my throat. I had a little wine earlier. Anyways, I think they're moving towards trying to get a younger crowd, and that's perhaps why they're changing up the voice, because I know they do that a lot as they're moving forward, not with like iconic characters as often, so it's a little weird, but I don't know, like I'm surprised.
Black Witch, what do you think? How much do you think of this is because of the movie, if at all? Like, do you think that they might be using this as a reason to kind of maybe make the character in the game sound a little bit more like the character of the movie, or do you think this is something unrelated?
Possibly. For me, I grew up with the Sonic television show that was playing in the 90s.
Yes.
So for me, that is Sonic's voice.
That was the guy from the guy from Family Matters.
Yes.
Yeah. That was he was the voice of Sonic when it first came out. So that's the one I remember. Urkel.
Yes. And that's, for me, that is Sonic's voice. So anybody else afterwards, it's like, hey, you're not Sonic, but good try.
They also made him much younger in the movie. So, you know what I mean? Like, he's supposed to be like, I don't know how old he's supposed to be, but he's not a teenager in the movie. He seems like really young, right? Like,
he seems like 12, maybe like 11, 12, like not like preteen-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, and also, it's a good thing that the movie design folks made him from Sonic to Sonic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe they don't want to pay 2 people to do the voice, and they're just, going to use that one voice since they're going to make another movie. It would make
Mm-hmm.
sense to continue with that voice and have that voice in any games that they have coming out afterwards, kind of like what they did with Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I think that's where they're probably going.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not going to keep Jim Carrey, for example, as Dr. Robotnik. In terms of like the game and
Game,
stuff,
yeah,
you're not going to
yeah.
hear Jim Carrey's voice as Dr. Robotnik, even though he did a very good Dr. Robotnik. But still, it's like, for me, it's like that old school Eggman, Dr.
Yeah.
Robotnik I'm used to.
Yeah. I mean, it's super sad to see him go. Like, we wish him all the best moving forward. I'm sure he'll have no issue continuing to work, but I am very, very curious to see who they're going to be bringing in next. If they're going to bring in somebody new, or if they are going to use the voice actor from the movies. I'm forgetting his name, but he's John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, I mean, I guess we'll see when we hear more from Sega. Let's
Mm-hmm.
mosey on to our next news topic. This is again coming from IGN, from Adam Bankhurst. Returnal delayed to April 2021. Returnal, the PlayStation 5 exclusive from Housemarque, has been delayed from March 19th, 2021 to April 30th, 2021. So it's only about a month delay, but they're giving them more time to polish the game and to get it ready for launch. Black Witch, are you big on Housemarque games at all? Have you played any of their old school games?
For all I know, I probably have, but as long as I didn't see like how smart, flying across the screen like Konami, then I probably wouldn't have noticed.
They've done stuff like Resogun and Matterfall. Resogun was one of their very big ones. They do kind of like old school twin stick shooters.
Yeah, I probably have not played those.
Yeah, I messed with Resogun a little bit, and it was fine. It's not really my genre. Returnal looks pretty cool. They've kind of made it all 3D, and they've made it more roguelike with shooter elements, which I think looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's coming a little bit later. So if anybody who's excited for it, just it'll be out soon. Give them time.
Don't
Our
be a
last
dick
piece of news. Don't be a dick about it. Our last piece of news comes from IGN one last time, from Adam Bankhurst once again. PlayStation Plus games announced for February 2021. Sony has revealed that Destruction All-Stars, Control Ultimate Edition, and Concrete Genie are the PlayStation Plus games for 2021. Destruction All-Stars and Control Ultimate Edition will both be on PS5, and Control Ultimate Edition and Concrete Genie will both be on PS4. Guys, I'm so amped to play Concrete Genie. And I don't know if either one of you have ever seen this game, but it looks friggin' beautiful. And Black Witch, actually, it has a VR mode, and like essentially from what I know about it, you're like this kid graffiti artist kind of thing, but when you're doing graffiti, it kind of like comes to life in this like neon splash. It looks beautiful, and it's always been.
I better be able to be black in that game, because I don't like because VR still has that problem where it's like you can be anything you want in virtual reality as long as you want to be white. Y'all need to fix that.
Yeah, I think Concrete Genie, I think there's like a VR add-on mode that's kind of like, I think it's more along the lines of like the Google Tilt Brush, where you can kind of just like free draw. Like, I don't think it's built into the story.
So it's like Vive. Okay, so it's like Vive Brush a little bit.
Yeah.
Like King Spray.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super amped. This game has always been one that has been in my peripheral, and I've just never sat down to play. So I'm super excited to go through this one. And Destiny, this seems like very much a Destiny style game, especially with the art style.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it right now. This looks dope as fuck.
I love graffiti.
Yeah, super beautiful. Super beautiful.
Oh,
so
man.
For anybody who's excited about Concrete Genie, let me know. And Control will also be there. Control's a fantastic game. The Ultimate Edition has like all the DLC and shit in it, so make sure you check that out. And Destruction All-Stars, I mean, we'll see. That's their new PlayStation 5 exclusive. That's all about cars fighting. So if you want to see more cars fighting, they put up a new state of play that gives more information about that game, because we've seen not a lot of it. So go check that out if you're interested.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, brings us to the finale, to the end of the show. Black Witch, I want to thank you so much again for joining us. And can you plug your stuff for us, please, if they wanted to hear more from you? I know you mentioned the website a couple times, but give it to us one last time. Where can people find you?
You can find me on thisblackwitch.com, and also I am This Black Witch on Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook fan page. So, and also on Twitter as well.
There you go.
See you guys there.
Yeah, I need to follow you on Twitter. I'm trying to be more active on there. I just post random stuff. Like, I want a cheeseburger today.
Yeah, like for me, I just either post, it's like automatic post of when my posts come up, or just me either using, for example, Google seriously, like F Google, and the fact that they think the Baltimorean accent is a disability, which is very funny given that everybody at Google, whenever they talk, they make it sound like they have severe cases of megalomania, which they really should get looked at. And so, yeah, Google seriously, for a bunch of people who are supposed to be smart, it's obvious that the people at Google don't use Google.
That's sad. People at Google don't use Google. That needs to be on a bumper sticker somewhere.
Yeah, seriously, stop firing your Black folks when they point out problems. And also, as a Baltimorean, this ain't a dialect. This is a dialect, not a disability. But if you keep talking like that, you might wind up with one.
Ooh,
Hey.
she's ready to throw hands, y'all.
We've already talked about
it. It's how we are. But seriously, Google, try to be smart. You're supposed to be known for it.
There you go. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun talking to you. And I hope that, with some of your advice, people venture out into the dating world safely and have a great time because of you. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. And congratulations on your new relationship.
You. Thank you. We just had our first month anniversary. I don't know if people saw it. Yes.
So adorable.
Next up is meeting the parents.
There you go.
Whoa, already?
Yes. Actually, millennials, we meet our parents. Apparently, millennials, we meet the parents a lot sooner than we did in older generations. With millennials, it's around like month 2 or so, but it's just simply about how interconnected we are versus back then. It was a longer time, but also things moved slower back then.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I ain't let nobody meet my daddy.
Please consider doing this parental meet in VR chat. I see nothing going wrong.
No, we're going to do
on
it
a
in
public server.
Real. No, we're going to do this in the real world where I act nice and I wow them.
There you go. I'm
excited for you, and I hope it continues to go really well. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Destiny, before we close out, is there anything left that you'd like to say?
I'm single. No, I'm kidding. No, but I am single, but I'm also kidding. I just wanted to I lost my train of thought. I just wanted to say I'm really glad that you were able to come back on, and like congratulations on your new relationship. Like I'm going to be peeping your Instagram and Twitter. Please keep me updated on what's going on with you and your new boo. And also, you know what, Matt, like
what?
Valentine's Day is coming up, so yeah, I got something special planned for that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's me signing off.
Yeah. And everybody, because Valentine's Day is coming up, please be safe. I know everybody wants to spend time with each other, but we're still in a pandemic. So remember, hands, space, face. And if you guys are going to interact with each other in the real world, please, if possible, get a coronavirus test to make sure that you are not going to be spreading. You'll be spreading only love and not infection. Make sure the only virus you are spreading is the happy virus.
Hallmark needs to call you right now because that's a great timeline for this holiday season.
Like, that's what I want in my Valentine's Day cards. Like,
you start your yard already is looking like all Hallmark. Just take a picture, slap that on there, and I guarantee you it's gonna go viral.
I'm like crying right now. It shit brought me to tears.
Oh my god, Lifetime, Hallmark, hit her up.
Yes. KFC too, because they're
no, not KFC. You guys have animal cruelty problems, and I'm against that stuff. But definitely have a safe.
Wait, KFC does?
Yes.
No, I can't eat chicken from there anymore.
Yes, but definitely try to stay safe. And there are definitely ways you can stay safe online and spend time with those that you really care about and get to know.
Perfect. And I think that is the most perfect note to end on. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go check out this Black Witch over at thisblackwitch.com and all the associated social media accounts. We've been Burnout Brighter. I lost my train of thought. There we go. No, I'm talking fast. I'm going to go even faster. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other major podcast network. You can also catch us on YouTube at Burnout Brighter, on Facebook at the Burnout Brighter Podcast. Thank you so much for all your support. We love and appreciate everything. We have some cool guests coming up. Black Witch has been awesome. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys next week. Destiny, say bye.
Bye.
Black Witch, say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Catch you next week. Peace out. Destiny, where's the deuces?
Oh, hey, deuces.
Thank you. Bye.
Hell yeah.